on the Nightbeat, San Antonio police revealing the moments before officers shot and killed a man in August. What new body cam video shows us and what questions still remain.
They've really dropped the ball with the way they treated the situation.
And a November bride is racing to find a new venue after her venue announced their closure that she had already booked. How the community is stepping up to make sure the two get to say, I do. Plus, over 1,000 people coming together for Head for the Cure 5K, while we and so many others laced up for the race tonight.
Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Welcome to the Nightbeat. I am John Paul Barajas. A San Antonio bride is pressed for time after finding out her wedding venue will be closing just 20 days before her big event. She tells the Night Team's Zaria Oates the news was frustrating and the process has been draining, but the community support is beyond what she ever expected.
I was in shock.
And when did you find out that the hotel itself was closing?
Last week on Wednesday around 4 p.m.
September 17th started Leslie's countdown to find a brand new venue for her wedding reception coming up in November. She booked Hotel Havana downtown on the Riverwalk back in January. Now it's September, and the hotel told her they'll be closing in October and not honoring any reservations after that date.
They've really dropped the ball with the way they treated the situation, and we didn't want to cancel because that week our guests were texting us and letting us know that they had already purchased tickets.
So I emailed Hyatt, the brand of the property, and they emailed me back saying in part, quote, reservations for October 20th, 2025 and beyond cannot be honored. The statement also says the hotel is, quote, working to notify affected guests and customers of this situation and assist them with requests for alternative arrangements or cancel reservations at no penalty, end quote. But Leslie says she still hasn't gotten her $2,500 deposit back, and that impacts how she can move forward.
That's really sad to me. You know, they're in the hospitality business. They're a big corporation, and they were being the least hospitable.
So she opened up TikTok and made this video.
There's nothing else in the city that is like that I think we would be able to secure in 51 days at the same price point.
Immediately, an outpouring of support from different businesses and different venues all across San Antonio.
Thanks to Wed Society San Antonio, I was in contact with the Kimpton and the Plaza. Oh, it's emotional for me and it brings me to tears because I am from San Antonio and it just makes me really proud.
Sad tears turned happy tears, but a new venue still comes with its own challenges.
Right now, the rebooking process is truly impossible without the down payment.
After we reached out to Hyatt and Leslie's attorney reached out, Hyatt emailed her back saying in part, quote, we commit to refunding your $2,500 deposit at a minimum.
Leslie still plans on having her wedding in November, and she tells me she's hopeful that it will still be just as magical as she originally planned. She did also tell me that she's spoken with other brides who are in the same situation, and some of them did say that they have received their refund. In downtown San Antonio, I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Zaria, thank you. Tonight, the San Antonio Police Department has released body cam footage of an incident where 5 officers opened fire on a man that they say pointed a shotgun at them.
There's a gentleman with like a rifle, in his front yard. He just shot it straight up into the sky, and he went into his house and pulled a gun out, like a shotgun looking.
SAPD says it was calls to 911 like the one you just heard that led to officers showing up to the area off of North Cherry on the east side around 10:30 in the morning on August 29th. The video shows one of the officers aiming a weapon at the suspect's home moments before the shooting. It then switches to the officer's dash cam, which appears to show the suspect coming out and motioning before the officers opened fire, killing him. SAPD says that there is no clear view of the victim in any of the cameras worn by the 5 officers who fired. KSAT has requested more footage from that incident. According to police, the suspect is 41-year-old Jaime Gonzalez. He was the only one injured or killed in this most recent incident. He also has a history of disturbance calls prior to the shooting. Meanwhile, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man that they say is responsible for a shooting that led to a 4-year-old little girl's death last year. This is 20-year-old Brian Salazar. Salazar walked in front of our cameras yesterday, repeatedly saying he's innocent of the crime. In May of 2024 in Northeast Bexar County off Windsor Drive, Salazar and another person pulled up to a home and opened fire with rifles. That's according to BCSO. 4 people inside the home were badly hurt, and 4-year-old Marianne Marble was killed. 20-year-old Isaiah Perales was already arrested in connection to this case. Now Salazar is facing capital murder for the shooting as well. 2 men were arrested after getting into a fight over a Netflix account. According to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, 19-year-old Brian Reynolds and 18-year-old Anthony Constante got into a fight with a third person who was said to be a victim. All of this after Reynolds changed the name of their Netflix account. One of the 2 suspects had a gun, and while fighting, the gun went off, injuring the victim. Both men have been arrested for aggravated assault. And taking a look at live cam, Friday evening there was a nice breeze. Today, another nice day to start the weekend.
It was a beautiful day this morning, and even this morning, JP, when people were doing that 5K throughout San Antonio, some folks were waking up in the beautiful 60-degree temperature. And even this afternoon, we didn't get that warm. Yes, we still got to the 90s, which is normal, but take a look at what our almanac was for the temperatures we got to see today in San Antonio. 92 degrees was our peak temperature. 63 was the low in San Antonio, but we did see some folks this morning waking up in the 50s as you go into the hill country. It's going to be similar throughout the next few days, waking up in those mid to upper 60s, still around our average temperature for us, with really no rain in sight. And we're still going to see those pleasant dew point temperatures and that humidity over the next 7 days. But things are starting to get a little more active, not necessarily for us, but for portions of the country and the Atlantic Basin for hurricane season. I'll break down what you can expect if you're traveling to the Carolinas coming up in just a bit.
It's a race that brings survivors of brain cancer together, and at the same time, it raises thousands of dollars for research. The Head for the Cure 5K took place today. Devin Karp spent the morning along the route to meet families grown on this side, families that grown into a tradition over the last 12 years.
2, 1.
Whether that countdown you just heard on a Saturday morning is a family tradition.
How many years since we started? 6 years since we started.
Or an early alarm clock on your day off.
How was it, guys? Good? Good. Awesome. How you guys feel about how you did out there today? Feeling good? Feeling good?
Great. Everyone here at the Head for the Cure 5K has a story to tell about their own battle with brain cancer.
I've been with Head for the Cure about 3.5 years now. I'm also a 6-year brain cancer survivor, originally given like 11 months to live. So now I get to go around partying for a good cause all over the country, and San Antonio has quickly become one of my favorite places.
Or if they're showing up to honor the battle of someone else.
My cousin had brain cancer when she was born, and I love my cousin a lot, and it really touched me. And I came out here, woke up at 6 in the morning with the drive to run.
You're in school. This is 6 in the morning on your Saturday too, right?
Yes. Very tired. I had soccer practice yesterday in the morning, but ready to come out here and run.
We've been doing this for 6 years for Grandma Granado. My daughter's been participating as well, so the whole family gathers every year to bring love and joy into this, because it's a big thing. Yeah. She survived 10 years, so this is a big deal for her and our family.
And I'm grateful for everybody that's here, especially you, and especially the sponsors and all the people here that want to keep on going.
Yeah.
I want to keep on going. I'm being blessed.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of you.
But no matter what, there's still plenty of room for smiles and laughs.
You ran? How was it?
Good. I ran half of it.
Half of it? That's awesome.
They ran the whole thing? Yeah.
Okay, how was it? You guys have a good time?
Oh, yeah. I was tired the whole time.
At the end of this morning, around 1,000 people helped raise more than $60,000 for brain cancer research and supporting families. An effort that doesn't go unnoticed for this grandma.
I wish I could go and hug them and thank them for being there for me and for a lot of people here.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Great to see so many faces and also so many KSAT faces. And coming up, a world-renowned geoscientist weighs in on plans for a controversial wastewater treatment plant. Critics worry that it could contaminate the drinking water for 2.5 million people. That's next. And breaking news tonight, San Antonio police and EMS are on the scene of a massive crash on the city's west side. The crash happened here near the intersection of Old Highway 90. We'll get that up to you right now. Old Highway 90 and Southwest 34th Street. We are taking this map, and our KSAT team is on the scene of the crash. So far, we haven't gotten any word as to what happened. This is a live picture from our photographer, Jared, who's on the scene. Lots of questions still to be answered. As soon as we get information, we'll get that to you. And shifting over to weather, the crash there, an ugly scene. The weather, on the other hand, has been very delightful, very pleasant the last few days.
It's been pleasant for us, and this week's a big week for especially folks who live on the East Coast and even near the Carolinas and Florida. It is the 1-year anniversary this week of Hurricane Helene. And JP, they're prepping for another chance of more active storms making its way. So here's a look at what we're currently watching in the Atlantic Basin. What we currently have is Hurricane Humberto. It is now a Category 5 hurricane. Just a day ago, it was barely a Category 3, and it's continued to strengthen over the days, especially as it gets into some warm, moist air and available air for it to continue to build. Now, here's what we're watching. Yes, Humberto is still just to the east, but that won't have much of an impact to the United States, and I'll get to that in just a second. But what we're watching is just to the west. This is near Cuba, already getting towards the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, if this does form, it would become Imelda. Right now, it is just known as Tropical Depression number 9. It has not strengthened enough to get a name just yet. But once again, if it were, that would become Imelda. But that has the chance to make its way to the United States. And here's kind of what we're expecting. As this storm continues, we're watching both of them as very closely, especially because when you do get these two systems, they can either impact each other in a positive, negative way, or even not interact at all. But as we go throughout the next few days, already by Tuesday morning, Humberto is going to just go to the west of Bermuda, still having all of that moisture, all of that showers and thunderstorms impact them. But what would become Imelda is expected already Tuesday morning to go to South Carolina and North Carolina, and even for some portions of Georgia. And that's going to have that impact, especially because some areas are still recovering from Helene over a year ago. Now, as we go throughout the next few days, after Tuesday, Humberto is still going to make a sharp turn to the northeast. But what we're watching to see if Imelda does take that sharp turn like some of the weather models are projecting, or if it continues to die out or even go back into the United States. So that's what we're watching, especially because there is a chance for some heavy rainfall potential. Here's a look at the rainfall potential over the next 7 days. It's just a loop over about 168 hours, which in turn is 7 days. What we're watching for Imelda is that moisture and that available rain could impact portions of the coast, but like we've been mentioning, the weather models are expecting it to make a turn to the right, as Humberto also makes that turn to the right and still gives some heavy rainfall to folks if you're headed to Bermuda. But there already are some slight and marginal risks for portions of North and South Carolina, even getting into Virginia as we go into Tuesday morning and Wednesday as this thing gets closer. But here's the thing. This is also a scientific thing we're watching, because this is the Fujiwara effect, when you get two tropical systems interacting very closely with each other. Now, if they're similarly sized, they just rotate each other cyclonically and don't interact. Now, another situation is the bigger storm will eventually absorb all the moisture of the smaller one, and it will continue to go. But the next thing that we're watching is also the bigger storm having the chance to merge into a stronger storm. So that's what we're watching for, the chance for what these two storms actually go to each other. But otherwise, no rain for us in San Antonio. These tropics are not going to have too much of an impact. But if you're having folks on the East Coast, just something to keep in mind of. Otherwise, JP, I'll get to the San Antonio weather coming up later on. But right now, it's going to be beautiful this week.
I think you might have missed the sea breeze in your forecast, Shelby.
Uh-oh.
Chris Brown.
Yes.
Sea breezy at the Alamo Dome tonight.
Yes.
48,000 some people going to check him out. Sea breezy. Give it a shot.
Okay.
From one big show at the Alamo Dome and Chris Brown to another. Friday Night Lights.
Yes, Friday Night Lights, week 5 of the high school football season wrapping up tonight, and we have some District 27 6A action to show you. We'll show you highlights and scores from around the area. And Texas A&M improves to 4-0 for their best start since 2016. How they did it and more after the break.
If the defense plays like that again and we eliminate penalties, we were already ahead of them by 200 yards. We lost 100 yards ourselves from penalties. If we don't, there's probably 30, 40 points on the board.
With room to improve, the sky is the limit for the Aggies in big board sports. All right, both of these teams went 0-3 in non-district play, but tonight is when it really matters. Reagan and Roosevelt squaring off in their District 27 6A opener at Hero Stadium. Now, Reagan leads by a field goal in the second quarter when senior running back Edwin Bridges has a wide open pass to pay dirt to extend the Rattlers' lead 10-0. And Reagan kept its foot on the gas in this one to defeat the Rough Riders 43-18. More District 27 6A action. Johnson, who we have ranked number 4 in 12's top 12, facing number 6 Brandeis. And bravo to that Jag student section showing the energy. Okay, Johnson up 24-7 when the Broncos cut into the deficit before halftime. That's Jaron Morris in Wildcat formation, and he bullies his way across the goal line for 6. And right out of the half, third quarter, Brandeis scores again. The pass is nearly picked off, but Morris able to make the play for another TD. But in the end, Johnson stays on top 45-28. Okay, more area scores. Southwest Legacy proves victorious 57-18 over Laredo Figueroa. Brackett beats DeHennis 63-6, and Stevens outlasts Taft 42-37. Okay, number 9, Texas A&M, fresh off of a bye, looking to stay undefeated with Auburn visiting Kyle Field. The Aggies jumped out to an early lead thanks to a Le'Veon Moss touchdown. Second quarter now, 6'3" Amari Nyblack converts the first down on 3rd and 12, and that'll lead to a 49-yard field goal try for Randy Bond, and he nails it easily. Aggies up 13-3. Now, things got messy for the A&M offense. Marcel Reed, he fumbles. Luckily, it's recovered by the Aggies, but on that same drive at the Auburn 21-yard line, Reed's pass is deflected, and it's picked off by Xavier Atkins, and Atkins returns it 73 yards to the 2-yard line, and the Tigers able to punch it in immediately after. It would all come down to this critical 4th down sack by Dayan Hayes, and the Aggies hang on to win 16-10, improving to 4-0 for their best start since 2016.
It means a lot. I mean, I really didn't know the history of that, and we're just doing what we can to, get wins every day. We do, trying to execute our championship execution and, play our best ball. It wasn't that today, obviously, but, we got the job done, and we're on to next week.
Okay, UIW star receiver Jalen Waltall made this incredible touchdown grab to get the Cardinals on the board after Abilene Christian's game opening touchdown. And right before halftime, check this out. ACU in the red when the ball bobbles around before being picked off by Michael Please Jr. Take another look, slowed down. This takes insane coordination to make that INT happen. All right, third quarter, it's Declan Williams who sees the passing lane, and he picks it off the pass for and returns it to the house. And UIW scoring 38 unanswered points to take down the Wildcats 38-7. More college football scores. UT-RGV suffering their first loss of the season in their Southland Conference opener, 45-31. Over CELA, and TLU falling to East Texas Baptist by a field goal, 24-21. And we'll wrap up with this, an update on the MLB playoffs. The Astros eliminated after the Rangers suffer a loss to the Guardians tonight. The Rangers were already eliminated, and the Guardians won by a walk-off hit by pitch when the bases were loaded. So a tough blow there if you're a fan of either the Rangers or the Astros.
Some could say it was a tough hit for the Guardian player. Might be a tougher hit for all Astros fans.
All of them, yeah. A couple of years ago, both of those teams were playoff teams competing for championships, and now it's going to be a long off season.
At least all the Texas college teams are doing relatively well.
Yes.
Good stuff. Thanks for that, Mary. It's fall, which means flu season is around the corner, and this year there's a new option for a flu vaccine. Find out what it is coming up. And voters have a little over a month before the November election. I'll break down some of the state and local issues after the break. A man is dead after a crash last night in San Antonio. Police say heart disease may have been the cause. This happened around 9 p.m. on Highway 281 near Loop 1604. The driver, 53-year-old Jerry Ham, lost control and hit signs before eventually stopping in the middle of an intersection. The driver was taken to the hospital where he later died. No one else was hurt, and the Bexar County Medical Examiner confirmed that Ham did die because of natural causes. Now to another crash, this one a hit and run, which sent a woman to the hospital this morning. This happened around 2 a.m. just north of downtown on North Main near I-35. According to SAPD, a 29-year-old woman was driving when another car drifted into her lane, causing a rollover accident. That woman is in the hospital with a head injury. The driver fled the scene. When found, they'll be charged with collision involving an injury. And on November 4th, the Texas voters will decide on 17 constitutional amendments, which will appear as statewide propositions at the top of the ballot. Many of the measures stem from this year's legislative session and include multi-billion-dollar property tax cuts for homeowners and businesses. But that is just one of many proposed changes, according to the Texas Tribune. Others you can expect to see include funding for water infrastructure, Texas State Technical College, and research on dementia treatment and prevention, just to name a few. Remember, these are state-level questions, so they'll sit above local races on your ballot. But speaking of local issues, some of the issues on the November ballot include voters being asked whether to help fund a new Spurs arena. They'll have to decide whether to use the county's venue tax to fix up county-owned facilities around the team's current East Side home, the Frost Bank Center. Also, NEISD voters will have to decide on a $495 million bond proposal. To weigh in on all of these issues, you need to be registered to vote by October 6th. Early voting will run from October 20th through the 31st, and Election Day is November 4th. The fall season is underway. Pumpkin patches and pumpkin spice are sure signs of that, but unfortunately, so is the flu. Health experts say it's around this time that flu viruses tend to start spreading and spiking, and suggests that now is the time to start protecting yourself and loved ones. Our Stephanie Serna has more on what to expect for the upcoming flu season.
It's almost that time of year again. Fall signals the start of flu season, which typically starts in October, with peaks between December and February.
We're expecting this year to be moderate, but last year was severe. We had more illnesses, more hospitalizations, and more preventable deaths of children.
Dr. Sarah Nozel with the American Academy of Family Physicians says the best protection is to get the flu shot as soon as it is available to you. That's before the season gets into full swing. The CDC recommends everyone 6 months and older, with rare exception, to receive the vaccine, which is trivalent this season, meaning it protects against 3 strains of the influenza virus. Nozel says vaccination can help protect against severe disease.
Your body's ready to take on that fight. So instead of ending up in the hospital with pneumonia, you might have a runny nose for a few days, and you will be much less contagious.
And for the first time this flu season, there's an at-home flu vaccine available in 34 states. Flu Mist is a nasal spray approved for non-pregnant people between the ages of 2 and 49. Nozel says to talk to a doctor to make sure you are eligible to receive it.
You really need to check in if you have any of the medical conditions that would make it not safe to be given. It's for healthy young people.
Stephanie Serna, KSAT 12 News.
An expert says the plans for a wastewater treatment plant might be putting our drinking water at risk. Our Sarah Acosta speaks to him after the break. There are plans to build a wastewater treatment facility over the Helotes Creek watershed, which is this area you see behind me. Researchers warn that could contaminate the drinking water for over 2.5 million people. Our Sarah Acosta gives us a closer look at what you need to know.
San Antonio gets its drinking water from the Edwards Aquifer. It's a karst or limestone system.
Limestone, like the rock that I'm standing on, but underground. And this rock is porous and extremely delicate. And it's what the Helotes Creek watershed is made up of, right here, in our aquifer system.
Lennar Corporation has proposed building a 3,000 home development over this area. That would require a wastewater treatment plant, which would dump treated sewage into our aquifer system. Researchers and neighbors have been fighting this for years. Dr. George Venny is one of the top experts on karst systems in the world. Karst is rock that's been dissolved by water, creating holes. He says any contaminant in this system can be deadly. He points to an incident in Canada where a farmer spread manure over the land and it rained a lot. That bacteria got into the limestone water system.
As a result, 7 people died and about 2,300 people became ill. In principle, in a certain sense, nobody did anything wrong, except for one thing. They did not understand that this was a karst area.
Whether it's manure or the wastewater facility failing and a bit of E. coli getting into that water and into our karst system, why should we be concerned?
The situation that happened in Canada is just telling us how sensitive the aquifer is to pollution and what the repercussions could be if the aquifer is polluted.
Bill Pack lives right on Helotes Creek.
When I heard about that report, it was pretty shocking. I mean, I hadn't heard about people dying before.
He and his wife have been fighting this development for years.
If it gets contaminated, we're going to be threatened in probably several different ways. So it's not a good feeling at all.
Venny says whatever happens with the proposed wastewater treatment facility, he says safety of the community should be the priority.
I want to make sure that we understand how sensitive it is, and we need to have the proverbial seatbelt and airbag, both working together to protect our water supply.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
Earlier this week, we ran a KSAT Explains the proposed Guajolote Ranch development in Northwest Bexar County and why it's facing backlash. In response to that story, Lennar, which is the corporation behind the project, sent us this statement saying, in part, quote, Lennar is taking extraordinary steps to protect water quality in the aquifer contributing zone with a wastewater treatment plant that meets all the requirements in the water service agreement with SAWS, who will provide water to the community. Our facility will be among the most advanced of the area's dozen or so treatment plants already operating over the contributing zone. You can scan this QR code to read the full statement and watch that story. And taking a look at live cam, we are sitting at 80 degrees as we're nearing October and the spooky season. Shelby.
I know a lot of people are excited, JP, for the spooky season because it means for some people, spooky temperatures. You're waking up in the 60s. Some people might not necessarily be a fan of the 60s, but I know a lot of people are, if that means that low humidity. We'll be waking up tomorrow morning at 65 degrees in San Antonio. Throughout the rest of your day, expecting temperatures to get to about 91 in the afternoon, similar to what we saw today, still having just mostly clear skies. But there's a few things we're watching. Still seeing those cool mornings for most of us in those 60s, the afternoon temperatures in those upper 80s to even the low 90s for some. But we're also seeing that drought continue to worsen for most of us across South Central Texas because we're not expecting any sort of rain for San Antonio. But I'll break down what you can expect for the week ahead coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Your time 11:03 this evening. Thank you for sticking with us. And finally, the South Texas heat seems to be going away a little bit. We're getting cooler temperatures. Friday night, walked outside, felt amazing. This morning, similar circumstances.
It's very much pumpkin spice season. I'm still an iced pumpkin spice girly, depending on even if it's cold. And this morning, JP, some people had to switch to the hot coffee. Take a look at the morning temperatures that most of us saw. 63 degrees in San Antonio, 51 degrees as you go into areas of Kerrville, 69 Comfort, 56 in Bandera. So most of us were sitting anywhere between 51 degrees in Kerrville or even 79 in areas of Canyon Lake. So most of us were still sitting cooler today. And in fact, in San Antonio today, it was our coolest morning in over 130 days. 38 days. In fact, that goes back all the way to May 12th. And for us, we're expecting the temperatures to be a little cooler going forward, but this is all because of that cool front that came through earlier this week that did bring some heavy rainfall to folks just to the south of us. We're talking Atascosa County down towards Corpus Christi, and tomorrow, like I mentioned, is going to be another day similar to what we saw today. You're waking up with temperatures in those 60s for some folk. Might even be in the 50s. And normally when we are waking up, we see our coolest temperature right around sunrise. And for us in San Antonio, that's between 7 to 8 a.m. now. And we're going to continue to see those mostly clear skies for us in San Antonio, already near 80 degrees by lunchtime. Similar situation with our afternoon temperatures, getting to about 91, still seeing those mostly sunny skies. But like I mentioned, we're still going to see a little bit more of the same, not only with our morning temperature, but also with our afternoon temperature. This is what you can expect going for the next 7 days. Our average temperature is 88 degrees. So in the afternoons, we're still expected to be above average for our afternoon temperature. But here's the thing. Although we're expected to get to 90 to even 95 throughout the week, we're going to be feeling a lot cooler because we're not expecting that humidity, the moisture associated with that in the atmosphere because of a few things. That area of high pressure, that big blue H currently in Mexico, that is going to try to make its way closer to San Antonio, which is going to allow us to be a little quieter. But what's just behind it, that's that area of low pressure, still seeing that bit of a mega block for that weather pattern, and some of that moisture might try to make its way to San Antonio next week. But really, we're just going to have that big blue H allow for some of that dry air to really feed in. And all of that dry air we saw earlier this week because of that cool front is already now in the Florida Panhandle, near Atlanta, Memphis, New Orleans, even getting into areas of Jacksonville. But that high is also going to allow some moisture currently because of that low pressure system even in Mexico just go north of us, not necessarily having too much of an impact for us in San Antonio. Now, like I mentioned, that moisture might try to make its way to San Antonio, but ultimately no rain is expected over the next 7 days for us in San Antonio, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Yes, it's fall. Yes, people want to see the cooler temperatures, get more seasonable conditions, but we're still in that drought. This was the latest drought monitor that was released on Thursday, and we're still seeing that exceptional and extreme drought in Medina and Bexar County, but everywhere else is still in that drought, going from Hallettsville all the way to Houston now in Fort Bend County, and 22% of Texas is still considered to be in that drought. So no rain chances on the forecast for us in the extended forecast over the next 7 days, but definitely some clear skies and temperatures in the 60s, which is going to be beautiful.
I can't wait. I've been waiting for it to cool down a little bit. As I've told you multiple times, Shelby, I have AC issues in my car, and getting into it is like a microwave. So cooler temperatures are a blessing.
Appreciated.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. No love lost between me and the Heat. Also, no love lost between Micah Parsons and the Cowboys. And he might have a meet and greet with Dak Prescott on his hands this Sunday.
It'll be an interesting dynamic tomorrow, and it'll be a little bit of a pinch me moment seeing Micah Parsons, trying to tackle, to sack Dak Prescott. We'll preview the Packers-Cowboys coming up tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football, and previewing Texans versus Titans, two winless teams looking for a much-needed victory after the break. Welcome back. Trayvon Diggs heads into week 4, a little banged up, reportedly dealing with a shoulder, knee, and hamstring injury. But he is expected to play tomorrow night. And luckily for the Dallas Cowboys, Deron Bland will return to the field this week, taking some pressure off of Diggs. Now, let's be honest, Diggs has been a major liability for the secondary so far in 2025, having already allowed 3 touchdowns on only 6 targets sent his way. And attention will be on Matt Eberflus's defense this week against the Packers. Here's head coach Brian Schottenheimer on Bland's return.
Number one, we're excited Deron's coming back, and Trey is dealing with some stuff, and like guys have to do. And I thought, like I said, it's awesome to see him come back in the game last week, and got the shoulder dinged up, and then come back in and to play and make a couple physical plays was great to see. So the best news of all is getting Deron back, because that gives you the flexibility to do the things that you need to do.
The defense will definitely need to tighten up as the offense has to make do this week without wideout CeeDee Lamb. And the biggest storyline on Sunday night will be Micah Parsons' return to Dallas since being traded. And he's happy for more reasons than one that Lamb isn't playing.
I think anybody who don't got a CeeDee Lamb don't know what it's like to not have a CeeDee Lamb more than us, and we dealt with that last year. So I think the offense is completely different without CeeDee Lamb. I don't think, me personally, he's my favorite wide receiver in the NFL. I just think the way he carries himself, the way he plays with so much heart, so much grit, his catching ability. And I tell him all the time, he's my favorite wide receiver. And he's an amazing person to watch. So I'm honestly excited that he's not going to be out in that field, because it would have been painful to understand who I was going against.
Former teammates bonded forever, but seriously, how weird will it be to see Parsons trying to sack Dak Prescott? All eyes will be on this one, and it only makes sense that it's on the primetime stage, a 7:20 kickoff at AT&T Stadium. The Houston Texans enter Week 4 0-3, but their games have been close. They lost by 5 to the Rams Week 1, then by 1 to the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. And last week, Houston lost by 8 touchdowns to division rival Jacksonville. Texans third-year quarterback C.J. Stroud was asked if he thinks Houston can turn things around. And meanwhile, rookie QB Cam Ward is getting ready for his first taste of the Texans-Titans rivalry.
Yeah, of course, that's the goal, but also you got to just chip away, and you think about the end in mind, but also you got to just want to know every play, want to know every down, want to know every game, and that's the goal I think that you have to start with. But yeah, I definitely think it's possible.
Have they emphasized the importance of the Texans-Titans rivalry to you?
Have they emphasized it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's something they're gonna emphasize, the whole week. But we're not really too focus on rivalry. We focus on winning the game.
Well, kickoff for that one is at noon. One of these teams will finally break into the win column when it's all said and done. And Texans fans, if you remember, the Texans made the postseason back in 2018 after an 0-3 start.
I remember it vividly. I don't know if it's going to happen this year.
Hey, fingers crossed.
The battle of the 0-3 teams. Someone is getting in the win column.
Yes, and real quick, Ryder Cup fans understand the Pan Europeans are big on USA going into Sunday. Golf fans, hopefully a big turnaround for USA tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for that, Mary. We'll be right back. Looking ahead, we at KSAT hope you join us Saturday, October 11th at the Rock at La Cantera for Light the Night. Hundreds of lanterns will be illuminated for the sky to celebrate and honor and remember people impacted by blood cancer. Our Danielle Ibarra is emceeing the event. We have more information and info on KSATcommunity.com.
And tomorrow afternoon, expect more of what we've been seeing. Temperatures in the afternoon getting to those 80s and 90s, 91 degrees in San Antonio, 93 as you go down the I-35 corridor. A little cooler as you get into the hill country, 88 in Junction and Kerrville, 87 degrees as you go into Fredericksburg. Now, extended forecast is going to be much of the same. You're waking up in the mid to upper 60s, afternoon temperatures in the mid to low 90s. The only battle we're expected to have really in San Antonio is maybe a little bit of humidity for some folk, maybe a little cloud coverage, but otherwise it's going to be a beautiful week, especially in the mornings. Might have to switch to hot coffee for some people.
Yay!
The other battle you forgot to mention is the line for pumpkin spice.
Yes.
Shelby and Mary will be there leading the way.
Know it.
I will not. Thanks for joining us, guys.